Hello everybody. So hardware unboxed and Nvidia happened to be in the news today because of this right here. This is basically kind of verbatim email that Steve got from Nvidia. I'm not going to read it. Basically took this from Linus Tech Tips because they were sent the email and Luke read it on stream, so I just kind of typed down what he read. Pause it if you want to read that there, but I want to take a look at something here. So I don't watch Hardware Unboxed because they just rub me the wrong way, just their personalities do on Twitter. Don't like them. But this video has nothing to do with a vendetta with them at all. No, I'm not that kind of person. This, I was curious. So I was looking, I wanted to watch one of their most recent Nvidia launch kind of videos. So I pulled up their RTX 3070 benchmark review. So let's watch this together here.
Welcome back to Hardware Unboxed. Today we are finally able to check out the GeForce RTX 3070. This is Nvidia's latest mid-range GeForce offering targeting the $500 US price range. And I would like to dedicate this review to our good mate Kevin from Tech Showdown. He tragically passed away very suddenly this time last year, and we've had the Australian cousin of Kevin's teddy in the background ever since. Yeah, but yeah, we miss the guy a lot, especially around new releases like this, as Kevin would share in the excitement with us. Okay, so last month we sort of saw the arrival of the RTX 3080 and the RTX 3090. I mean, we got to show you the benchmarks and a few cards and all that sort of stuff, but it seems as though very few of you were able to buy one. We're almost 6 weeks now from the initial release of the RTX 3080, and availability is still virtually non-existent, which frankly isn't good enough, and it's looking...
Which frankly isn't good enough. You know, Nvidia, you should figure out a way to make Samsung, I don't know, be able to develop chips faster. You guys could do it, right? You know, I bet it's your fault. It's 100%. You're doing this maliciously, aren't you?
Has botched this release. We have heard various stories within the industry that this might have been planned, a way to drive up pricing.
Do I need to say anything to this?
To flow, people will be well adjusted to prices above MSRP. It all sounds a bit crazy, but then we saw exactly that with the GeForce RTX 2080 Ti, which in reality was never a $1,000 US product, instead coming in at more like $1,200 US or more, and pricing to other regions like here in Australia was heavily inflated. So for Nvidia, time really is running out, whether this is a deliberate action or just a gross miscalculation.
Okay, right here, I'm an Nvidia executive, right? I got my suit on, I'm executizing. And my global public relations manager supported these guys and set them this. And I'm sitting here watching this, getting pissed off, hearing this bullshit. I don't know, I drop them immediately.
Brand is taking a hit. The backlash from gamers is more extreme than we ever imagined it would be, and perhaps it's a situation where Nvidia didn't foresee the backlash either. Whatever the case, the failure of the 3080 and 3090 launch has put the more affordable RTX 3070 in a bit of a rough spot. It was initially slated for release on the 15th of October. However, having witnessed just how poorly the lack of availability was received by gamers, Nvidia wisely opted to push the 3070 release back by 2 weeks to the 29th of October, allowing them to build up a larger stockpile for release day. So, hopefully your chances of buying an RTX 3070 in 2 days' time when they hit shelves on the 29th are going to be much higher. And we're really hoping to see strong availability within 3 to 4 weeks after release. But so far that does seem unlikely given what we've seen with the 3080 and 3090. Now, while you pray for improved availability of these parts, we have a video sponsor.
So we have 2 minutes and 40 seconds of basic straight bashing of Nvidia. Cool.
Video sponsor is Be Quiet and their brand new line of Pure Loop high-performance liquid coolers.
Might I add, we're basically like in a whole thing right now. There's a virus. People aren't able to work at the highest efficiencies. But it's Nvidia's fault.
Pure Loop is the minimizes nickel-plated copper, even includes a coolant bottle in the kit. So, for more information, please 3070 before jumping into all the benchmark data. Whereas the 3080 and 3090 share the same GA102 die, the 3070 is based on the almost 40% smaller GA104 die. It packs 32% fewer CUDA cores and TMUs with the same 96 ROPs. That said, the cores are clocked higher, though we're only talking about a 4% increase for the base clock and a percentage for the boost clock. The memory subsystem's also been downgraded. Firstly, we're moving away from 10GB of high-speed GDDR6X memory to 8GB of standard 14GB per second GDDR6. And with a narrower 256-bit wide memory bus, this does limit the peak bandwidth to 448GB per second. Still, despite those downgrades, Nvidia has claimed that the RTX 3070 is on par with the RTX 2080 Ti, though of course it is missing 3GB of VRAM. But at $500 US, at least that's the claimed MSRP, it is worlds cheaper than the RTX 2080 Ti, so if it delivers similar performance, that will be a bit of a big deal. Now, an advantage of the cut-down design is the much lower TDP rating of 220 watts. That's 100 watts lower than the 3080 and 30 watts lower than the outgoing 2080 Ti. This should mean that 3070 base graphics cards will be cool, quiet, and easier on your power supply. So we'll look into that later on in the review. But for now, that's about everything we want to talk about. It's time to get into the blue bar graphs. For testing, we're using our Ryzen 9 3950X test system, featuring 4 sticks of low latency DDR4 3200 CL14 memory. Kicking off the benchmarks with Death Stranding at 1440p, we indeed find RTX 2080 Ti-like performance.
I don't need to show all of these. They're graphs, they're bars. These don't do anything wrong. What they do wrong is, okay, so we're at 5 minutes and let's just call it 5 minutes and 10 seconds. We're at 5:13 really, but let's just call it 5:10. And it's ahead here. Okay, we're at Shadow of the Tomb Raider. They have Shadow of the Tomb Raider up here that has RTX. They're not showing the RTX version here. They're not showing that here. We go ahead. I forget what else says RTX out of all these. Sorry, scrolling through this is kind of hard. This is a VP9 I downloaded. But anyway, we're scrolling through. We're at 16, 17, even
or 12.
Yeah, there we go. Cost per frame. Okay. What's this?
Was 27% cheaper per frame than the 2070 Super, so a much better value proposition at the $500 US price point. Something Nvidia has made a big deal of with their new Ampere architecture is their so-called second generation of RT.
So-called. Okay, again, I'm an Nvidia executive. I'm somebody that let me pull that up here. Someone that Brian Del Rizzo probably reports to. And I see this, and so-called. Who the fuck is this guy saying they're fucking so-called second generation? Why is he doing that? They are second generation. There's nothing about it that's not so-called. So-called, okay, get rid of them. We don't want them working with us anymore. Done. 2 infractions.
generation tensor cores. They claim that ray triangle insertion throughput is now doubled so that the RT core delivers 39.7 RT teraflops compared to Turing's 23.8. They also claim that the new tensor core automatically identifies and removes less important DNN weights, and the new hardware processes the sparse network at twice the rate of Turing, 162.6 tensor teraflops with sparsity compared to Turing's 63 teraflops. So, all of that should mean significantly improved ray tracing and DLSS performance. But as we found previously with the RTX 3080, performance here was only improved over the 2080 Ti because the 3080 was faster in terms of raw performance. With the 3070, we now have an Ampere GPU with the same raw performance as the 2080 Ti. So, how do they compare in terms of RTX performance? Starting with Death Stranding at 1440p, we see that DLSS performance is no better with the RTX 3070.
They are just really fucking good with bar graphs, aren't they? I am really confused about this data being represented to me. Okay, so we have... Let me throw something on screen here. Work? Yeah, this will work fine. I got a little thing I could highlight shit. 3080, 3070 with the... Okay, we got that. 2080 Ti, which is what it's compared to, and Nvidia says it's on par with, and we are seeing that it is on par with. Okay. Basically, any way you cut it is like there's a lot of flippant remarks that Hardware Unboxed will make throughout this video that sow doubt on needless for no reason. Basically, it's needless doubt to the consumer, like supposed second gen, and why isn't this faster than the 2080 Ti? For some reason it should be faster because it's second gen, but then Nvidia said it's on par with it, but it is. So I'm not seeing. I'm really not rooting for you. I don't know.
80 Ti. There is literally no improvement to be seen here.
Yeah.
Even at 4K, we see zero improvement in DLSS performance with the Ampere GPU.
Yes, you do. That's
even
correct.
in F1 2020, we see very little change. Although the 3070 was 5% faster with DLSS enabled when compared to the 2080 Ti, we're talking about a very small increase.
Yes.
Moreover, we saw that margin completely evaporate at 4K. Here, the 3070 scales in line with the 20.
He's saying all of this like it shouldn't be, or it should, or what are you trying to prove here?
Then lastly, we had a look at Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and this gives us a look at DLSS and ray tracing performance. And when compared to the 2080 Ti, we see that the 3070 does nothing to improve ray tracing or DLSS.
Exactly, yes.
4K, there are no improvements to be seen with the so-called second-gen RT cores and third-gen tensor cores. So that is super disappointing to see.
Why would that be disappointing if that's exactly what is supposed to be happening?
Towards the end of our GeForce RTX 3070 review. Overall, the 3070, it is a great value product, though I am a little tentative to recommend you rush out and buy one, assuming good availability that is. As we know, AMD is set to make their next gen big announcement roughly this time tomorrow. It'll be a few hours after this video.
Yeah, and that happened, and amazing things happened, right? Everyone was able to purchase one. AMD didn't have supply problems, and it was great, right? Revolutionary.
Not too long now, and no doubt we'll be able to provide you with reviews of those products within a reasonable time frame after that announcement. And that means in the very near future, the GeForce 30 series will have some kind of competition, and it is possible the RTX 3070 won't be the best value option at $500 US. Of course, we don't know just yet, but...
Okay, so what are the other value propositions that Nvidia would give you over AMD? Well, you got RTX voice. Here, let me pull up the thing. You could do RTX voice. Where's broadcast and all that shit? There we go. You got DLSS. You don't have that on AMD. They're working on their own thing. Should maybe happening. Who knows when. You got NVENC. You got Reflex. You got broadcast. You got CUDA if you ever want to get into that stuff. None of that's talked about or mentioned. It's just the whole vibe I get from this whole review is like they have no idea why they put out this review. It's like, we don't know why we're doing this. We basically want Nvidia to cut us off. We're going to be as flippant as possible. And what the fuck did you expect? Yeah, I don't know. I could go on a whole lot longer. I'm not going to, though. I didn't realize this would take me 16 minutes to go on about. Frickin' get rid of you. He's gone now. Bye.